We have with us on the line Mr. Neil Shah, the founder, director and chief de-stressing officer of the Stress Management Society and International Wellbeing Insights, leading global expert on stress management and wellbeing. Also the co-founder and of campaigning group Recovery and best-selling author of many books, including the 10-Step Stress Solution. Mr. Neil Shah, good morning, peace be upon you, and welcome to The Breakfast Show.
Thank you for joining us.
I think we've just lost Mr. Neil Shah. We're gonna try and get back in touch with him.
I think it's the fog outside his
It
face.
might be. But we're back on with Mr. Neil Shah. Mr. Neil Shah, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning. We can hear you. Thank you very much for joining us today. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
We're doing good. Thank you very much. Mr. Neil Shah, for the benefit of our listeners, what are the aims and the purposes of the Stress Management Society?
So the Stress Management Society is a non-profit organisation I set up 17 years ago in 2003, essentially to provide practical advice, support and guidance to both individuals and organisations that experience stress and want to essentially be able to empower themselves to cope with the ever-increasing demands of modern life. We were founded with the purpose of creating a happier, healthier, more resilient world. And 17 years later, I don't think things have been as bad as they are now than at any other point I've been working in this field. You know, the pressure and the challenges and the stress that people are experiencing because of all the changes that have happened to our daily lives is so unprecedented. You know, the way we live, the way we work, the way we communicate, the way we engage. And it's very troubling for me, the amount of people that we're finding are getting to breaking point. And with that in mind, we've recently set up another organisation which I've helped to co-found, which is called Time for Recovery, which is to ensure that all of the different needs of society are represented, not just at the moment what it seems to be, it's all about the pandemic, but we're starting to see people whose mental and emotional needs are not being met, and that's leading to some really tragic consequences. So I think it's really important that we take a balanced approach to how we deal with all the challenges we're facing.
Of course, and obviously while someone is going through many different types of challenges, we do forget about ourselves, and of course, I mean, factors like nutrition and sleep, that is of course very important for our own mental and physical sustenance. How do these such factors, nutrition and sleep, affect stress and vice versa?
Yes, I think it's an interesting question because at the moment the advice the advice that we're all being told to follow stringently is wear your mask, sanitize, socially distance, and all of these kind of things. Now, yes, those things are important. But there is nothing more important to protect you in the face of a public health risk than your immune system, right? When you're stressed, we tend to do things that further damage our immune system because, eating well, sleeping, exercising, socializing, all the things that make us feel better will also improve our health and in turn will have a positive impact on our immune system. And, let me ask you, have you ever had periods of stress in your life where you got ill, you got a cold or a flu?
Of course.
Just after that period of stress.
Yeah, yes. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have, and that's because that period of stress has literally decimated your immune system. Right now, we should have posters up and advertising on the television and really, encouraging everyone as best as they can to look after themselves mentally, emotionally, as well as physically. To get exercise, to have some wind down time at the end of every day, to be able to disconnect and switch off from the world at large, to be able to relax so you can get a good night's sleep, to eat well, and particularly at the moment with the way things are, a lot of people are turning to food as a crutch. And people turn to a whole variety of things to get them through challenging times. But how many of us turn to food? I don't know if you guys have ever done that. Have you ever, sat down with a family-sized bag of crisps or a huge bar of chocolate because you're feeling a bit down and you think that's going to make you feel better?
But I mean, this thing is of course, I mean, there's an actual word for it when you're like, I think it's called like the stress eating or there's like a relief eating, something like this. I can't remember the exact word. But when people are going through whatever kind of stress they may be feeling in life, whatever factors they may be, they turn to food, and they'll turn to snacks and chocolates and sweets and and things which will give them temporary, in a way, pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, it's a drug, and then let me be clear about that. Turning to sugar or turning to food is no different to turning to an illegal substance. It gives you a short-term hit, but then after the hit is gone, how do you feel that way again? You need to go back to whatever it is that gave you that hit.
Yeah.
And we get locked in these cycles of addiction. And this extends to food, it extends to substances. Some people might turn to alcohol or things like that. But also, there are other things that we turn to. In modern life, I'm finding that people are also addicted to their technology. Like when you're feeling down or bored or upset, you turn to your phone. That's another seriously challenging concern for me, because most of the information that we're getting from our devices at the moment is not generally uplifting us. Because if you're tuning to your news channels or checking out social media, a lot of it is being filled with doom and gloom and things that we should be worried about.
Definitely,
and that's a real concern.
Very true.
And the reality is, as much as many of us feel so out of control in the current circumstances, we've been told what to do, who to do it with, when to do it, how to do it, what to wear while you're doing it. We feel like there is very little control left over our lives. But there are things that we have control over. We can choose what to consume, whether that's what you put in your mouth or what you put in your brain. We can choose how we react and respond. We can choose what actions we take to look after ourselves. And if you look up the word power in the dictionary, when applied to a human being, it quite literally means the ability to do or act. As much as many of us are feeling powerless at the moment, there is things that we can do. There are ways that we can show up that can make a positive difference to us, to our families, to our communities, and to society at large. And that's the one thing I'm going to encourage everyone to do. Let's find our power again so we can look after ourselves, stay healthy, stay fit, and start making positive changes that take us back to the world that we're all dreaming of returning to.
That's brilliant advice. Could you then please also tell us a bit about your 10-step stress solution and some techniques that can help to reduce the impact of stress in the mind and the body, please?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. So the 10-step stress solution is drawn from my book, which is published on Random House, available in all good bookshops, called The 10-Step Stress Solution. And the 10 steps are, the first one is prioritize your health. Now, it sounds obvious, but it's not. For most people, it's way down on the list. Now, if you're completely focused on your career, and there was I can't remember who came up with the phrase that we spend all of our lives making money,
yes,
and deprioritizing our health, and then we get later in life and we have to spend all of our money to try and recover our health. What about prioritizing that in the first place? Yes. What about on a daily basis ensuring that you're taking action to increase your health and well-being? Getting a good night's sleep. Now, this is one of the most important things for us to function well as a human being. But again, for many of us at the moment, either there isn't enough time to sleep or we're struggling to sleep because we're so stressed, we're so upset, we're so impacted by the circumstances of everything that's going on in the world around us.
Sure.
So, what can you do to prepare yourself for sleep? If you had a child, you would start preparing them for sleep at least an hour and a half before bed. You'd give them a bath, a warm drink, a lullaby, a cuddle, a bedtime story. And there's certain things you'd avoid doing with a child at bedtime. You would probably not have them sat in front of the television drinking fizzy drinks and eating sweets, because that's going to be counterproductive to help them to unwind for bed. Now, we know this is so important because we practice it so diligently with children, but how do we kind of follow the same approach with ourselves? So that's one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do. We are from the same species as children. We have the same basic needs that they do. So, as much as we know it's important for our children, it is also important for ourselves. Your breath. Your breath is the anchor point of your life. It is the first thing you do when you arrive to this world. It is the last thing you do before you leave this world. It is something that is happening in any given moment of your life. It is the most important, the most crucial thing that we need to do to survive. Yet it's the one thing that most of us undervalue, don't think about, and don't do effectively as adults. Many of us are shallow breathing, particularly when we're stressed. We take short, shallow breaths, which in turn means there's a lack of oxygen in the system, which also has an impact, number one, on the way your body functions, because every system and function of your body needs oxygenated blood to function efficiently. If there isn't enough oxygen in your system, everything doesn't work effectively. But also it has an effect on how you feel mentally and emotionally. So, in a moment of stress or crisis, we all know this to be true. What do we say to someone when it's panicky and anxious? Calm down, take a deep breath. Well, don't wait until it's got to breaking point. Don't wait until you're having a panic attack before you take a deep breath. Practice that in all moments of your life.
Yes.
Always bring yourself back to your breath, because your breath is your anchor point. Staying hydrated, particularly in winter, that's harder for some people, but again, it's after breathing, it's the second most important thing that we need to survive.
Yes.
Our bodies are 70% water, and 70% of what goes into your body, what passes your lips, it should be water or water-rich content.
Okay.
So, it could be just a glass of H2O, but it could be things that have high levels of water in it, like fruit, like vegetables, like salads, like soups, like herbal teas. There are so many ways to keep yourself hydrated. And once again, that has a positive impact on the way your body functions, and given the circumstances that we currently find ourselves in, it's also really important for your immune system. What you eat for well-being and not for stress. We kind of covered this already when we were talking earlier about stress eating and comfort eating.
Yes.
But you also have to bear in mind that there are a lot of foods that we can buy that are devoid of any nutritional value.
Of course, yes.
Actually, now that for those of us that are at home and kind of having to spend more time at home because of lockdown, I think this is a great opportunity to get out to the local greengrocers, buy some fresh fruits and vegetables, and come home and make some fresh food, salads and curries and those kind of things. I think it's a really great opportunity to be able to build your life around quality food. We don't make enough time or spend enough money on ensuring that we get the right food into our bodies, because actually eating badly is cheap and easy. That's the problem. We live in a world where eating badly is so cheap and so easy. It wasn't that long ago where actually eating out it cost money and it was an occasion. That's not the case anymore. For a lot of people, it's easier to get nutritionally devoid, cheap food than it is to actually make something fresh. So this is one of the things I'm going to ask you to consider.
Yes.
And also, I think, to a degree, the information that we've been fed for so many years, excuse the pun, is a little bit confusing. We were always told five a day.
Yes.
That was never true. It's pseudoscience. There was no science behind that. Really, the equation is a little bit more complicated, and it adds up to about 22 pieces of fruits and vegetables a day. Those of which should be, 5 of those should be sort of green leafy vegetables, then some hard cruciferous vegetables, some fruit, and also a broad variety of colours. So, just relying on your five a day, you could have 5 bananas a day and say, I'll tick my 5 a day. Well, no, you haven't. You haven't really got the nutrition into your body that your body needs to function optimally. So ensure that you get a broad variety, a broad spectrum of fruits and vegetables, different colours, different nature of fruits and vegetables. But also ensuring you're getting good quality proteins. Nuts and seeds can be really useful for that kind of thing as well. Movement. Now, again, when we have an experience like we're having now, a lot of people think this is an excuse to sit on the sofa and watch Netflix or whatever other channel that people enjoy watching. We are still able to exercise, and yes, the weather might not be as great as it was the last time we had a lockdown, but get out, walk, wrap up warm, take an umbrella if you need to. Get out and get your daily walks, every single day. I'm really lucky I've got a dog and I have to go out 2 or 3 times a day.
Yes.
But, for those of you don't, pretend you've got a dog. Have an imaginary dog, give it a name, and take him out or her out 2 or 3 times a day. It's going to be one of the most powerful things that you can do to ensure you get movement into your body and you can keep yourself physically active. Your mindset, if you sit there for the next month or for the coming months, imagining worst case scenario, oh, woe betide me, the world's coming to an end, look how bad things are, I can't change anything, nothing's going to make a difference, you're going to feel pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Now, rather than focusing on what we can't do and what power we don't have, focus on what we can do and what is within our power, what we can contribute to help.
And I think it's just like you mentioned as well, that whatever is I think it was our last caller as well. What's happening outside is not what's in our control. What's inside our houses is something that we can control. And I think that's something which you've echoed quite nicely there as well. Mr. Shah, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.
I can tell people where they can get some more information. If they'd like to read more about this, they can visit www.stress And if they'd like to find out about the campaign to restore balance, it's www.timeforrecovery.org.
Thank you very much, and thank you again for those tips, and of course the websites where people can reach out to. Thank you very much again, and we hope you have a great day.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye bye.